And on the News Express, President Tinubu signs 2024 budget into law. NAFDAC reduces processing fees for locally made goods. Federal government committed to air travel safety. Federal government to spend 100 billion naira on school feeding in 2024. Automation of passport application begins January 8th. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global TV, live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. President Bola Tinubu says he will continue to work towards a better Nigeria to justify the trust placed in him by electing him into office in February 2023. The president, who stated this in a New Year message in Lagos, says justifying that trust has been his burden in all his policies and program within and outside the country since he assumed office on May 29, 2023. He reiterated commitment of his administration to boost food security in the country in 2024, adding that the government will cultivate 500,000 hectares of farmland to combat hunger in the country. Kike Lomo Okere has the details.
In the previous year, Nigeria laments the high food and all item inflation rate in the country. The food inflation rate was 31.52% in October 2023 compared to 23.7% in October 2022, while the headline inflation rate was about 28% in 2023. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says to ensure constant food supply, security and affordability, his administration will step up the plan to cultivate 500,000 hectares of farmland across the country to grow maize, rice, wheat, millet and other staple crops, adding that his administration had launched the dry season farming with 120 acres of land in Jigawa State last November under the National Wheat Development Program.
To ensure constant food supply, security and affordability, we will step up our plan to cultivate 500,000 hectares of farmland across the country to grow maize, rice, wheat, millet, and other staple crops. We launched the dry season farming with 120,000 of land in Jigawa State last November under our National Wheat Development Program.
Tinubu also vowed to improve the business environment in the country, stating that it will remove all bottleneck to profitable business operation in the country. However, 5 multinationals have stopped operations in Nigeria in the last 10 months as a result of power crisis. President Tinubu says his administration will fight every obstacle that impedes business competitiveness in Nigeria and will not hesitate to remove any clog hindering the path to make Nigeria a destination of choice for local and foreign investments.
And this new year, we will race against time to ensure all the fiscal and tax policies reforms we need to put in place are codified and simplified to ensure the business environment does not destroy value. On every foreign trip I have embarked on, my message to investors and other business people has been the same. Nigeria is ready and open for business.
The president further promised to implement new national wages for industrial workers in the country to cushion the effects of hardship being felt by the citizen, adding that the federal government will work diligently to make sure every Nigerian feels the impact of their government.
I am well aware that for some time now, the conversations and debate have centered on the rising cost of living, high inflation, which is now above 28%, and the unacceptable high underemployment rate. From the boardroom at the broad streets in Lagos to the main streets of Kano and Nembe Creeks in Bayelsa, I hear the groans of Nigerians who work hard every day to provide for themselves and their families. I'm not oblivious of the expressed and sometimes unexpressed frustrations of my fellow citizens. I know for a fact that some of our compatriots are even asking if this is how our administration wants to renew their hope, their compatriots. Take this from me. The time may be rough and tough. However, our spirit must remain unbowed because tough times never last.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu further pledged that his administration will work for the peace, progress and stability of the country, while extending this call to his political opponents in the last election, saying all hands must be on desk for the sake of the country. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Still on, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has signed the 2024 appropriation bill into law, in keeping with his renowned commitment to maintaining a timeless, predictable and effective budget cycle. President Tinubu assented to the bill at the State House shortly after returning to Abuja from Lagos. Speaking at the signing of the bill, the president assured Nigerians that implementation of the budget will be efficiently pursued and vigorously monitored, adding that all the institutional mechanisms shall be held to account in ensuring diligent implementation. Kikelomo Okere has details.
This is an evidence and a great testament to the excellent relationship between the executive and the legislature.
The top priorities of the 2024 budget of 28.7 trillion naira are defense and internal security, job creation, microeconomic stability, improved investment environment, human capital development, poverty reduction, and social security. The president says funding the judiciary is a major element in an effort to support a just, rules-based society. Statutory transfer to judiciary has been increased from 165 billion naira to 342 billion naira. Some of the key estimates are capital expenditure 10 trillion naira, recurrent expenditure 8.8 trillion naira, debt service 8.2 trillion naira, and statutory transfer 1.7 trillion naira.
The budget is a budget of renewed hope. It's anchored on reducing the deficit and increasing capital expenditure, particularly in our priority areas. The approved 2024 budget that we just approved now achieve both objectives. It contains a good increase in the capital side, a reduction in recurrent expenditure, and it brought down the deficit from 6.11% to 3.88%. That, to me, that's an achievement.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu emphasized that his commitment to enhance investment promotion while creating a rule-based society that favors no individuals over the law, which begins with important reform in Nigerian judiciary, the funding for which is captured in 2024 Appropriation Act. However, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajudeen Abbas, among others, were present at the signing. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Over now to the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, has confirmed that the passport application automation process will begin operation on January 8, 2024. The minister had announced in December that the federal government was working to ensure a full automation system of passport application in the country. The reels out that the automated application system was 99% done, adding that the process would include uploading passport photos and supporting documents while inspecting facilities of the Nigerian Immigration Service in Abuja alongside the Comptroller General of the service. Wura Ola Adekpoju Ojo further confirmed that Nigerians will be able to apply and complete their passport application process online without human contact. The federal government has reiterated its commitments to ensuring the highest standard of safety, efficiency and reliability for air travelers, airlines and all stakeholders. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, in a statement by his spokesman, Tunde Moshood, also promised to protect operators in the industry, further stating that the federal government will spare no efforts in ensuring strict adherence to aerospace standards in the country. The Military High Command says its troops in their various theatres of operation across the country recorded significant successes in its war against insecurity this year. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, gave the overview of ongoing military operations from January to December while addressing newsmen, identified major security threats, outlined regional dynamics, and showcased the armed forces' effect in addressing various challenges. Kikelomo Okere has the details.
According to the Director of Defense Media Operations, the year 2023 saw a diverse range of security threats, including terrorism, armed banditry, kidnapping, oil theft, successionist agitation, and farmers-herders clashes. He further explained that these threats were categorized by geopolitical zones with distinct dynamic in each region. We noted that the armed banditry and terrorism prevailed in the north-central and northwest region, while the northeast continued to grapple with Boko Haram terrorist Islamic West African province. In the southeast and southwest, successionist agitation by the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra IPOB and the Yoruba nation were prominent concern. The Director of Defense Media Operation stated that the South-South region faced challenges such as oil theft, cultism, and youth restiveness, while criminal activities like kidnapping, armed banditry, communal clashes, cattle rustling were widespread across the six geopolitical zone. General Buba expressed concern on the pivotal role played by the proliferation of small arms, illegal arms, influx through porous border, and the presence of local arms fabrication factories in fueling security threats. Speaking on why the troops could not repel the attack on residents in Plateau State, Buba explained that Boko's embarking Ladi local government area of the state span about 2,315 square meters with over 350 villages, most dispersed. He, however, assured the incident will never occur again in the state. The military high command expressed satisfaction with the increased stability achieved across various theaters of operation, stating that the troops are in dominant position and make significant strides in the ongoing war against security threats. He further urged Nigerians to continue to provide prompt and credible information to security agencies to help in carrying out their mandate effectively. Kikelomo Okeri, Global Television News.
In the spirit of the new year, the governors of Benue, Taraba, Nasarawa and Gombe states have granted amnesty to 96 inmates serving various jail terms in different custodial centers. Benue Governor Hyacinth Alia granted pardon to 12 inmates at the correctional center in the state. The governor expressed worry that most of the inmates were young persons who shouldn't be anywhere near the prison. Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule pardoned 14 inmates, while in Gombe State, 39 inmates were also granted clemency by Governor Inuwa Yahaya, of which 26 of them will be granted unconditional pardon, while the remaining 13 have their sentences commuted to shorter periods. Over now to Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo has faulted officers of the Nigerian Immigration Service for asking people, especially married women, to come to the headquarters, Abuja, to effect a change of name on their passport. Speaking at a recent dinner with members of the Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu Bat Media Center and some social media influencers in the act as inhumane, he said women are not subjected to such humane practices as a count of marriage anywhere in the world. He declared that the passport issue remains the least of his worries, adding that as of March, the new passport reforms is putting in place would ensure contactless biometric enrollment to allow Nigerians to do their enrollment from their comfort zones. Moving on now, the federal government has announced the suspension of the evaluation and accreditation of degree certificates obtained from institutions in Benin Republic and Togo. This decision disclosed in a statement signed by Augustina Oberlo-Duru on behalf of the Director Press and Public Relations of the Federal Ministry of Education. The statement highlighted the government's concern over utilization of deceptive methods by some Nigerians to acquire degrees from these countries aimed at securing job opportunities for which they lack qualifications. Amidst these concerns, the suspension of the evaluation and accreditation process remains in place pending the conclusion of an investigation. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has rolled out strategies to help micro, small and medium enterprises survive the temporary economic fallout occasioned by the fuel subsidy removal. The Director General of the agency, Mojisola Adeyeye, disclosed this in a statement issued to newsmen in Abuja by NAFDAC media consultant Olushayo Akintola. Adeyeye said the new set of strategies was targeted to help SMCs and survive economic situations from the fuel subsidy removal and to enhance the ease of doing business in Nigeria. She added that the agency had reviewed downward the present administrative charges for late renewal of NAFDAC-related products to make the business environment more investment-friendly in a quick response to the realities of the time. The Emir of Kano, Aminu Adubairo, has said he will continue to identify and promote activities that will foster peace between the north, the southeast, and indeed all regions in the country to ensure that it is sustained in Nigeria. Emir Bayaro's assurance was contained in a speech at the recent unveiling of peace in Southeast by the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Okeze-Kalu, seeks a non-kinetic approach towards resolving the security challenges in the southeast region of Nigeria. The Emir further called on the Deputy Speaker to use the platform to cater to the poor and the indigent in the society, saying it will help to mitigate the economic challenges. Following the Christmas Eve attack in some communities in Plateau State, which left over 150 persons dead, the state government has declared 7 days of mourning starting January 1st. Governor Caleb Muswang made the declaration in his New Year statewide broadcast to the people. He also granted state pardon to one Danladi Musa, who was sentenced to life imprisonment, and 3 others who had their various sentences converted to lesser terms. Mufwang commiserated with the people of Patu on these killings, especially the affected communities and the families of the deceased, stating that as a mark of honor for the memory of the deceased, he wished to declare 1 week of mourning from January 1st to January 8th, 2024. 6 persons have died while 11 sustained injuries in a multiple road crash on the Kaduna-Zaria Expressway. The Federal Road Safety Corps Kaduna State Sector Commander Kabir Nadobo said the accident occurred at Aliko Filling Station at Kaduna Express Zaria Way on Tuesday at about 6:25 a.m. Nadobo attributed the multiple accidents to speeding and dangerous driving, which resulted in the temporary halting of movement of motorists. He said that the road is now free and clear for movement, noting that the rescue team of Zebra 35 Rigachuku responded promptly to the scene and conducted the rescue. And you're watching the News Express live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Express returns, federal government to spend 100 billion naira on school feeding in 2024. The news continues shortly with details of these and more stories right after this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television, bringing you live broadcasts of News Express. Thank you for staying with us. Over now to our foreign desk. The head of Guinea's ruling junta says a constitutional referendum will be held in 2024, a key step towards the return of civilian rule after seizing power in a coup. Colonel Mamadi, who was ruled since overthrowing the country's first democratically elected president in 2021, announced the vote during an end-of-year speech. Nearly all the councils are currently headed by officials from parties of the ostrich civilian ex-president Alpha Conde or former Prime Minister Célio de Leon, which are critically of the military leadership, said the announcement were due to a wish to continue the considerable effort to return to constitutional order through the organization of free, democratic and transparent elections, respecting the timetable for a transition back to civilian rule. The powerful earthquake that struck central Japan, killing several people, destroying buildings, knocking at power to tens of thousands of homes and prompting residents in some coastal areas to flee to higher ground. Japanese government spokesperson Hayashi stated that the earthquake had caused several destroyed houses and led to fires. Army personnel have been dispatched to help with the rescue operations, with authorities continue to assess the damage. Stated that more strong quakes in the area will similarly affected has been simmering for more than 3 years, could occur over coming days. Over now to South Korea's opposition leader Lee has been stabbed in the neck during a visit to the city of Busan. Lee, who narrowly lost the 2022 presidential election, sustained a 1 centimeter laceration of the left side of his neck. The leader of the Democratic Party of Korea was addressing reporters at a news conference during a visit to a construction site in the port of Busan on Tuesday morning when the stabbing happened. He was airlifted to hospital. Lee doctors have confirmed that the wound is not life-threatening. Over now to business. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has disclosed that the 2024 budget includes 100 billion naira allocation for the school feeding program. He made the statement during the signing of the 2024 appropriation bill into law in the State House in Abuja. Tinubu stated that the provision will serve as a stimulant to encourage attendance in schools and reduce the problem of out-of-school children. The president also confirmed that the budget, christened Renowned Hope, is anchored on reducing the recurrent expenditure but increasing capital expenditure. Still on the news, the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, has said over 163,000 passengers benefited from the federal government subsidized interstate trip for the end-of-year festive period. Alake, who is the chairman of the Committee on the Implementation of the End-of-Year Transportation Subsidy Program of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, disclosed this in a progress report. According to him, beneficiaries saved 21,500 naira and 15,000 naira each on trips to Abuja and Onitsha. The Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, NIPC, is seeking for more partnership with the private sector and relevant stakeholders to improve the nation's investment drive. The Executive Secretary of the Commission, Aisha Rimi, made this known at a one-day interactive session with the Commerce and Industry Correspondent Association of Nigeria, CSAN, in Abuja. Kikelomo Kere has the details.
The Executive Director, NIPC, says the Commission is aligning its focus and efforts with the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda to boost both local and foreign investment. She further urged the media to always promote good stories about Nigeria through their reportage.
Well, we do well. We know the resultant effects, the multiplier effects that a successful investment will have on our economy, job creation, diversification of the economy, and all of that. So, as we also now have a new administration, we at NIPC are realigning our focus and our efforts, albeit with the same underlying factors. But we are realigning our areas of focus to key into Mr. President's agenda.
In his presentation, the Director of Policy and Advocacy explained that in an effort to promote investors in the country and make Nigeria more attractive for investors, the Commission has reduced the cost of doing business, adding that the Commission will balance the interest of the private sector and the government so as to attract foreign investors while attributing high cost of doing business to inflation in the forex markets.
But we are in the middle, making sure that we balance the interest of the private sector as well as the government. And that is why you see us advocating and making sure that we are reaching out to both the government, the relevant MDAs as well as the private sector. So in the areas of the investment climate that is really challenging, making so many private sector companies to be leaving the countries particularly because of the exchange rates. And we know that this thing did not start today. And again, the government of the day did not deliberately decided to do that to make the investors to leave the environment.
On her part, Loveline Kayode, who represented the Director Incentive Administration Department in NIPC, says the Commission will in 2024 embark on impact assessment of companies that benefited from incentives.
So, so far this year we have granted 34 applications have been approved, and one of the things we intend to do is to ensure that we are not just giving incentives. You know, it's been going around, everybody talking, this country is giving too much waivers, incentives, concession. But if I tell you how much in tax expenditure, that's tax expenditure simply means what government has lost by granting the pioneer status incentive. It's just a minute amount. But at the end of the day, what we are looking at is what does the country stand to gain by bringing in, by granting these incentives to qualified companies or qualified investors.
In his remarks, SECAN Chairman Ifeanyi Onuba, while pledging the association continuous support for the Commission, urged the Commission to always put out an open invitation to all media for their activities to enhance inclusiveness and public enlightenment.
Continue to play their loyalty.
And that's it on our News Express, and it came to you live from the Nigerian capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using at Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. See you again.